Boots against Ortiz.
If Boots get hurt like he did the last time, Ortiz gonna finish him.
Wow.
So he gotta tighten up his defense.
10 steps behind you, right?
He gotta tighten up his defense. He gotta stop exchanging. I know
Vergil is going to get in the ring with you. You think he wants to fight you at this point? I know y'all had whatever y'all had before, but I mean, it's a new day, new division, like you here now. So do you think that fight can be made?
I don't know. I hope so. We went all the way down to his fight by ourselves. They ain't pay for nothing. We paid for our own flight, hotel, our own ticket. We went all the way down there to him and Lubin fight. I get all the way in the ring and all that stuff. We arguing back and forth. I'm thinking it's done. I get out the ring. I'm thinking it's done. I wake up the next day. I hear him talking about some Errol Spence's dream fight. I'm like, hey, bro, it just in there. I'm like, what's going on? That's like him coming to my fight. We getting in front of each other, and I'm like, Danny Garcia, my dream fight. Like, right. The fans be going crazy. Like, yo, I don't know, it's crazy. But I thought that fight was done. Hopefully do. If not, whatever, so be it. Like I said, I'm down here. I'm already. This is my second fight at this weight class, and I'm already a unified champion. He's been at this weight class for how long now? So I don't know. So
right now, I think Boots will fight anybody at 154. You heard it from him. He said he'll fight anybody with a belt, or anybody that's a top dog. And just speaking of that fight with Vergil, it's going to be like a Ennis type of beatdown. That's what it's going to be.
Terence Crawford has sent a clear message to Jaron Boots Ennis as talk builds around a possible clash with Vergil Ortiz Jr., according to Crawford. If Ennis finds himself hurt in that fight the same way he was previously against Karen Chikadzian, Ortiz would capitalize and bring it to an end, something Crawford believes didn't happen in that earlier bout. Crawford emphasized that Ennis needs to sharpen his defensive habits and avoid getting pulled into unnecessary exchanges. While he acknowledged Ennis' speed and explosive ability, which set him apart from many fighters in his division, he also pointed out a recurring issue. Ennis sometimes becomes reckless, engaging in action without a clear purpose instead of staying disciplined.
You gotta tighten up his defense. He gotta stop exchanging. I know he's faster than most. He's more explosive than most, but at the same time, he's shown in the past that he can get careless and that he's going out there just to fight, and I don't think when you get higher and higher, that's going to be enough.
Eddie said this would be a massive fight, you versus him.
Terence Crawford also brought up an ongoing discussion he's had with promoter Eddie Hearn regarding a possible mega fight between himself and Vergil Ortiz Jr. Crawford explained that before his bout with Canelo Alvarez, he had put Hearn to the test, asking him to invest in making the fight happen if he genuinely had confidence in Ortiz's chances. According to Crawford, Hearn chose not to commit financially to the matchup.
Huge.
Eddie been talking about that for a long time. But the crazy thing about it is I told Eddie, I said, Eddie, this is before Canelo. I said, Eddie, you keep talking about this fight so much. Put your money up. Eddie said, I'm not paying for that fight. I said, why not? You believe in your fighter? I'm not paying for that fight. I said, I rest my case.
Terence Crawford rejected that interpretation, arguing that if Stanionis had truly wanted to stop, it should have been his corner's responsibility to make that decision instead of placing it on the fighter. He described Stanionis as still developing, noting that looking over to the corner during a difficult stretch is a natural reaction for any boxer trying to manage the situation, not an indication of giving up. Crawford added that he wouldn't categorize Stanionis in that way, especially considering he chose to face Ennis in the first place.
Well, I just look at him as inexperienced. Like, he really just gave his corner the opportunity to do whatever they wanted. That's how I see it.
Okay. Meaning when he looked over to them?
Right.
Okay.
But that's what you taught. You taught when you get a knockdown or if you get hurt, look at your corner. So I wouldn't say that he quit because he took the big step in getting in there when he didn't have to.
Looking forward, Jaron Ennis shared that he plans to step back into the ring at least once more before the end of the year, as he continues his pursuit of becoming the undisputed champion at 154 pounds. He described this phase of his career as a run focused on building his long-term legacy. Ennis pointed to Sebastian Fundora, Vergil Ortiz Jr., and Josh Kelly as the current title holders in the division. And while he remains interested in facing Ortiz, he admitted there's still some uncertainty around whether that matchup will come together.
In the ring, what you think he wants to fight you at this point? I know y'all had whatever y'all had before, but I mean, it's a new day, new division, like you here now. So do you think that fight can be made?
I don't know. I hope so. We went all the way down to his fight by ourselves. They ain't pay for nothing. We paid for our own flight, hotel, our own ticket. We went all the way down there to him and Lubin fight. I get all the way in the ring and all that stuff. We arguing back and forth. I'm thinking it's done. I get out the ring. I'm thinking it's done. I wake up the next day. I hear him talking about some Errol Smith's dream fight. I'm like, hey, bro, it just in there. I'm like, what's going on? That's like him coming to my fight. We getting in front of each other, and I'm like, Danny Garcia, my dream fight. Like, right. The fans be going crazy. Like, yo, I don't know, it's crazy. But I thought that fight was done. Hopefully do. If not, whatever, so be it. Like I said, I'm down here. I'm already. This is my second fight at this weight class, and I'm already a unified champion. He's been at this weight class for how long now? So I don't know. So like I said, I'm here to collect these belts and take over this division. So I ain't doing too much waiting around for nobody.
When discussing the balance between building a legacy and earning income, he explained that financial rewards are important due to the obligations he carries. At the same time, he made it clear that his long-term reputation holds equal value, specifically being recognized as a fighter who dominated multiple divisions and remained undefeated throughout his career.
What's your balance, Boots, with the legacy thing and then making sure you get your paper and getting your chicken in negotiations? Like, what's the balance between like not giving too much and just being all legacy, but also being a businessman and a guy that's about legacy?
I mean, well, the older I'm getting now, of course, it's the money, because I gotta eat. I got family. I got stuff. I got business. I got cribs. I got house. I got stuff going on. So of course it's the money too, but that legacy really important to me as well too, because you gotta stamp yourself. I don't want to be one of those boxers where they forget about you. You feel me? And I want to be one of those boxers where, like, when I retire as an undefeated, legend, I want them to be like then he did everything. He for everybody. He beat everybody. He moved up multiple weight classes and took over like every division he was at. And I want to leave that mark,
Couple more and I'm gonna let you get out of here.
Veteran promoter Bob Arum shared his thoughts on Xander Zayas showing against Jaron Ennis, acknowledging that, in hindsight, he would have liked to see Zayas build more experience before stepping into such a high-risk matchup. Despite that, Arum praised the young champion for taking on the challenge and testing himself at that level. He also highlighted moments where Zayas found success, especially in the third round, using those sequences as proof of the potential he brings moving forward.
Well, I think, we would have preferred Xander not to take that fight because he was young and wasn't really ready. But he insisted that he wanted that fight. And it may not turn out so bad. Because, as you said, people remember that round where he had Boots in a lot of trouble, the third round.
Yeah. When the conversation turned to a potential matchup between Ennis and Terence Crawford, Arum emphasized that he still considers Crawford one of the most complex challenges in the sport. He pointed out that Crawford's ability to fluidly alternate between orthodox and southpaw stances, while remaining highly effective in each, makes him an especially difficult opponent to figure out.
I don't know, Crawford is an awfully good fighter. And, it would take a real wizard to beat him. Crawford has something that no other fighter around has. And people haven't commented on it. And that is, he fights equally well as a southpaw or as a right-hander. And so when you train for a fight, usually the fighter he's fighting trains for him as a orthodox fighter, right-handed fighter. And so from the first round on, he'll turn southpaw. And the guy isn't ready for him. That's what beat Spence. Spence trained for the fight like he was fighting an orthodox fighter in Terence, and Terence fought him as a southpaw.
Trainer Brian McIntyre was questioned about whether Jaron "Boots" Ennis is beginning to establish a new era in boxing, drawing a comparison to how Terence Crawford once separated his own generation from Floyd Mayweather's. McIntyre recognized Ennis as a highly talented fighter, but stopped short of calling it his era. He explained that Ennis is still part of a group of rising active stars, including Shakur Stevenson and Naoya Inoue, who are all making their mark at the same time.
Mm-hmm. And, when you say that, I'm just curious because I know Terence, he had his era and he was very complimentary in the sense of like, look, it's like Floyd and me, like that's never going to happen. And in a case like this is like the Boots era, right? So, I mean, with you who understands multi-divisions, like, do you kind of see Jaron kind of being one of those next guys, if anything, kind of following the footprints of?
I think he have to. I mean, he's a great fighter. He can start his own era like what he's doing now, but he got a lot of guys he got to compete with, like Shakur. He got Inoue. Those guys are young and still fighting. So yeah. I ain't gonna really call it the Boots era. I just think he's a great fighter in the era with other guys that can say this was my era.
Brian McIntyre went further when discussing the current picture at both 147 and 154 pounds, placing Vergil Ortiz Jr. and Sebastian Fundora in the same conversation as Jaron Ennis. He described this group as evenly matched, with no clear frontrunner until they eventually face one another in the ring. McIntyre pointed out that Ortiz has consistently shown an ability to close the show once he has an opponent in trouble. As for Fundora, he highlighted how his height and reach have helped him work through the division, even with an earlier defeat on his record.
Mm-hmm. With that, I know like there's the Fundoras and Vergils, like they all have to fight each other to even come to that conclusion. I mean, is that amongst those guys, is there someone stand out a little bit more, or is it still kind of 50-50 across?
I think it's a 50-50 across the board, because when you look at Vergil and when he get guys hurt, like maybe Boots was hurt, he finished them off. You look at Fundora with the range and the height he got, even though he'd been beat before, since then he's just been cleaning them up, and so we all waiting to see, when those two or three, like the Four Kings, when they tangle. So we, as boxer fans, we just sit back and wait.
Shifting focus to Ennis' victory over Xander Zayas, Brian McIntyre said the result marked a significant step forward, putting Ennis in line for another major challenge. He compared the current situation among leading welterweights to past eras, referencing how Marvin Hagler's win against Thomas Hearns helped pave the way for the next defining matchup. McIntyre added that fans are now anticipating who will rise to the occasion next, similar to how figures like Sugar Ray Leonard or Roberto Duran once did.
And so, Boots, he got over that hurdle, a big hurdle, so it's on for the next one. That's like when Marvin Hagler beat Tommy Hearns.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, he's down there. Now we got Sugar Ray Leonard next, or Roberto Duran next, so everybody just sit back.
Boxing analyst Timothy Bradley Jr. shared that he sees Sebastian Fundora as one of the limited number of opponents who could pose serious problems for Jaron "Boots" Ennis. He clarified that this assessment is based more on Fundora's physical advantages than on being the more technically skilled boxer. Bradley highlighted Fundora's reach, high punch output, power, and ability to manage distance as key factors that make him a challenging and unconventional opponent, particularly for fighters trying to get inside.
Give Boots a run from his money. He could. And I only say that because of his attributes. Not because of his boxing skills. It's because of his attributes. That's why. This guy has, and it's Sebastian Fundora. You guys know who he is. He's a southpaw too, right? He has range. He has volume. He has punching power as well. Okay? He knows how to keep his distance. He's difficult. I know he's been knocked out before. I know that. But you got to go through a dang rain of fire to be able to get close to this guy if he don't want you to get close. Now, everybody's saying, well, Thurman was supposed to get whooped. I told y'all Thurman was going to get whooped too. Y'all heard it here too. Y'all said he going to get whooped. Okay? But I was studying the film the other day, and Boots has the style that I believe that can give him fits because of his elusiveness.
Timothy Bradley Jr. stated that Sebastian Fundora has up to a year to satisfy his WBC mandatory requirement, yet is not moving toward a bout with Jaron Ennis, implying that Fundora's camp may be avoiding that matchup. He also noted that Vergil Ortiz Jr. is currently dealing with legal issues, and added that a fight involving Ortiz is the one he would prefer to see take place first.
That's why you see Fundora wanting to fight, because he don't have to fight his mandatory. I'm letting y'all know that right now. He got a year to fight his mandatory. An entire year with the WBC, right? And all he has to do is ask the WBC, hey, I want to pursue this bigger venture with Boots Ennis. But as you see, the manager, all right, they don't want it to do anything. They don't want anything to do with Boots. Nothing to do with Boots. And so people saying, well, Boots ain't fighting nobody. Boots ain't fight. So now he wants to fight somebody, right? And nobody wants to fight him. And nobody wants to fight him. So we've heard that Josh Kelly might want to do it because Hearns got Josh Kelly. Okay, that's might want to do it. Vergil is tied up in litigation. Hopefully he can get his stuff together, because that's the fight that I want to see first. I want to see Vergil and Boots first. But if you can't get that, then why is Fundora, hiding and ducking and, the towering inferno? And I got nothing but love and respect for him, because that man is from around my way. He's from around my way. He's from the valley. I got nothing but respect for Fundora. Okay? But I think what it is that they see the danger in fighting him right now. He's hot right now. Let him cool down a little bit.
Timothy Bradley Jr. compared this situation to Sebastian Fundora's earlier public calls aimed at Terence Crawford, when Fundora spoke about wanting to challenge the top fighter available. Bradley argued that, following that same reasoning, Fundora should now be targeting a matchup with Jaron Ennis, whom he views as the most naturally gifted fighter in the division based on what he sees in the ring rather than overall accomplishments.
But if he was really about that action, if he was really, Fundora was really about that action, he would tell his managers, nah, I want him. You remember when Fundora was saying that he wanted Crawford? I want to fight Terence Crawford. I kept hearing that from Fundora. He wanted to challenge himself against the best. Well, right now, who's considered, I would say, the best in the division or the most talented? We're not going by resume. We're going by just eye test talent. It's Boots.
Timothy Bradley Jr. said that boxers can sometimes overlook the role fans play in sustaining the sport through ticket sales and pay-per-view buys. Reflecting on his own career, he explained that he chose a fan-friendly, aggressive style, even when it meant absorbing more punishment. He added that in a well-structured boxing landscape, major matchups, such as Fundora versus Ennis, should be made.
Fighters always forget that the fans, you guys at home, you guys watching, you the ones that's paying for this. Y'all the ones that buy the tickets. Y'all the ones. I was a fighter, I understand that. That's the reason why I fought the way I fought. Tim, you got hit a lot. You got hit a lot. I was short. I had a big head. Yeah, I slipped punches as well. I did get hit quite a bit because I'm being aggressive, because I'm trying to please the fans at home. Okay? So, Fundora, Josh Kelly, all these fights, they should be made. If boxing was a sport, it was a real sport and ran the right way, those fights will be happening. We wouldn't have to wait 10 years, 15 years, 5 years.
Turning to Sebastian Fundora's upcoming fight, Timothy Bradley Jr. said he anticipates a relatively straightforward victory. He described Fundora's opponent as a shorter, compact fighter who moves forward with some punching power but lacks reach and refined technique. Given the clear difference in size, Bradley expects Fundora to capitalize on that advantage and secure a stoppage.
Fundora's gonna fight this guy, what's his name? Ermel Hadriba. He's I think he's an Albanian, if I'm not right. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's Albanian. He is. Got some pop on his shots. I was watching him last night. He ain't gonna have anything for Fundora. Nothing at all. Makes a lot of mistakes. Fundora's gonna capitalize on him. He's not that tall. Doesn't have very long arms as well. Very short, stubby, explosive guy. Likes to come forward. But Fundora gonna eat him up. And Fundora gonna stop him when they do fight. But like I said, Fundora, you got a year, bud, to handle that. This guy just won his title not a couple of months ago. 2 months ago. He was like the one of the little mandatory titles holders. One of those.
Showbiz came to Jaron Ennis' defense in response to the criticism, stating that a commanding stoppage victory featuring 3 knockdowns should have put any doubts about his ability to rest. He also gave credit to Xander Zayas for his resilience, noting that once Zayas recognized he couldn't match Ennis in a boxing exchange, he made the decision to hold his ground and engage instead.
Listen, bro, you cannot slap somebody on the hand for not being exciting enough, and you can't slap them on the hand for dominating somebody and dropping them 3 damn times and stopping them to become unified champion in a fight that is questioning his whole entire resume. How good is Boots really? You cannot criticize on every side, all right? Now let's talk about Xander Zayas. Xander Zayas choosing to take the fight to Boots. He did right because he tried to box him the first round. People didn't realize that. Boots Ennis was snapping his head with a jab, and Xander Zayas said, you know what? You're not going to slow groove me. We're going to have a fight right now, because he couldn't outbox.
Ade Oladipo stated that the most significant matchup for Jaron Ennis isn't against Sebastian Fundora or Vergil Ortiz Jr., but rather Terence Crawford. He said Crawford would likely identify weaknesses in Ennis style, yet emphasized that the only real way to answer those questions is for both fighters to meet in the ring. Oladipo also expressed interest in seeing the bout take place at 160 pounds, describing it as the most balanced division for the 2 champions and the kind of event fans are eager to witness.
As for Boots, we know what the super fight is. We know what the super fight is. Super fight isn't Sebastian Fundora. The super fight isn't Vergil Ortiz. Super fight isn't Josh Kelly. There's no one at 160. The super fight is Terence Bud Crawford. That's the super fight. And you know the thing is about Terence, yeah? A, we know Terence is a killer. Terence would have watched yesterday's fight thinking, I see holes. I see holes and I will capitalize. I'm bigger than you. I'm harder than you. I've got more experience than you. I'm better than you. Well, let's see it. All these things can be said. There's only one way to decide that. Get in the ring. Get in that 22 by 22 foot squared ring with your 10-ounce gloves and let's throw down. And I think Terence is going to. Terence tweeted something along the lines of, almost like don't tempt me type vibe. And you know what Terence is like? Terence is a street kid. You kind of push that street kid and say it's easy work as Boots is doing. Terence will make you find out if it is easy work, and it ain't easy work. I hope His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh was watching because he's the one that can make that fight. Both of these guys want to get paid and he can make that fight, and a fair weight class is 160.
Robert Garcia called for boxing to move forward with a matchup between Jaron Ennis and Vergil Ortiz Jr., stating that no other fight currently offers the same level of appeal. He pointed out that developments around Ortiz suggest the bout is becoming increasingly possible. Garcia added that Ennis' recent performance has only heightened interest in the potential clash, which he believes could stand out as one of the top fights of the year. He also noted that their forward-pressing styles complement each other, creating the possibility of a rivalry that could deliver multiple memorable encounters.
Let's do it next. Let's do that fight next. I know Vergil's already, everybody already knows, everybody already hears that things are looking good with Golden Boy, working things out. Plan is to get Vergil before the end of the year. Let's make this fight happen. Let's do it, because it's going to be a great fight. Vergil style, Boots, what Boots just did last night, it just tells the boxing world that it'll be one of the best fights of the year whenever it happens. It's a great fight. These guys could fight 2-3 times and the fans won't stop watching.
Sean Zittel described Jaron Ennis win over Xander Zayas as a fight that will be remembered for a long time. He commended Ennis for his aggressive, action-oriented approach and his readiness to take chances in the ring. Zittel said the performance captured the kind of excitement that draws fans to the sport. He also grouped Ennis with fighters like David Benavidez, Jesse Bam Rodriguez, and Naoya Inoue, highlighting them as some of the most entertaining names in boxing today.
Right after Jaron Ennis knocks out Xander Zayas with 3 knockdowns in a 7th round knockout in a classic fight, in a shootout that is going to be one of those fights you could replay 10, 15, 20 years from now and it'll still be fun to watch. So let's get right into it from the jump. Round 1 happens and Ennis lands his first 4 or 5 jabs he throws and peppers Xander Zayas. Not a good sign for Zayas right out of the gate. But Ennis, who came out using his jab, being the daredevil he is, being the explosive fighter he is, he decides to make it a fight. And that was impressive tonight by Jaron Ennis and exciting by Jaron Ennis tonight. And I'll start on that note by saying I think Boots Ennis, David Benavidez, Bam Rodriguez, and Naoya Inoue are the most sensational fighters and spectacular fighters in boxing right now.
That brings us to the end of today's video. We hope you enjoyed the breakdown. Let us know your opinions in the comment section below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more upcoming content.